What if I told you that Shannon Sharpe's picture-perfect media persona is crumbling under the weight of one messy scandal, a suspicious IG livestream, and a stylist who refuses to stay silent? Because now, the man who used to help dress Shannon for the red carpet is undressing the whole truth, one cryptic post at a time. Whispers about Shannon's double life have swirled for years, but now they've exploded into a storm, with Hollywood Simpson, his former stylist, hinting at secrets, betrayals, and a cover-up that goes deeper than anyone expected. So what really happened behind closed doors? And did Shannon try to erase a man who knew too much? Shannon Sharpe, the sharp-tongued, designer-clad former NFL titan turned media mogul, has always commanded the spotlight. Whether seated across from Skip Bayless on Undisputed or tossing verbal jabs on Club Shay Shay, he's built a reputation on raw charisma, cutting commentary, and a presence too loud to ignore. But now, that same presence is under fire. And not for what Sharpe said, but what he allegedly tried to keep quiet. Enter Russell, Hollywood Simpson. For years, he was more than just a stylist to Shannon. He was part of the visual machine that transformed Sharpe from athlete to fashion icon. The suits, the frames, the custom loafers. Simpson had his hand in all of it. But lately, Hollywood's been talking. And what he's saying, it's shaking the foundation beneath Shannon Sharpe's carefully polished image. The public first caught wind of the rupture when Hollywood made cryptic posts online, shaded captions, offhand comments, and the kind of vague insinuations that gossip watchers live for. At first, many assumed it was just creative differences or a falling out over payment. But Hollywood soon dropped the bombshell. He claimed Shannon tried to silence him. Not just ignore him, not just cut ties, but intentionally suppress whatever it is he knows. Now, this isn't some stylist griping about unpaid invoices. Hollywood's implying he knows something dangerous, something damaging. And if what he's hinting at is true, this may go far beyond fashion, far beyond business, and straight into the kind of scandal that ruins reputations overnight. So the question becomes, what is Hollywood trying to say? And why is Shannon allegedly so desperate to stop him? Is this about wardrobe choices? Style credits? Or is it something buried beneath the velvet blazers and luxury drip? A hidden truth tied to fame, power, and control? Because when the people closest to you, your inner circle, start speaking out, it's rarely about the clothes. It's about what they saw, what they heard, and what they were once paid to cover up. And if Hollywood Simpson has receipts, then Shannon Sharpe may be facing more than just an image problem. He may be facing a reckoning. Before the fallout, before the live stream, before the cryptic social media posts, there was the bond. At first, nobody thought much of it. Shannon Sharpe, towering ex-NFL star turned sports commentator, started showing up to tapings and red carpets looking sharper than ever. Tailored suits, bold color blocking, frames that screamed expensive before you even caught the logo. The transformation didn't just happen, it was orchestrated. And behind it all was Russell Hollywood Simpson, the man who didn't just style Shannon. He became a shadow. They were always together, not just at fittings or press events. Hollywood was seen walking into tapings, traveling with Shannon, sometimes even sitting just off camera during major interviews. Fans noticed fast. This wasn't the typical client-stylist relationship. It felt closer, intimate even, a sort of professional enmeshment that blurred the lines between business and personal. And in Hollywood, Shannon seemed to have found not just a fashion guru, but a confidant. At first, Hollywood's presence was chalked up to the rise of image curation. After all, Shannon was rebranding. But when paparazzi photos surfaced of them dining late, laughing in matching outfits, attending private events, whispers began to swirl. Online forums lit up with speculation. Who was this man always next to Shannon? Why did the former tight end, a man known for his hypermasculine, no-nonsense persona, suddenly seem inseparable from a flamboyant stylist with a bold social media presence and a list of celebrity connections? Then someone connected the dots. Because this wasn't Hollywood's first brush with NFL notoriety. Years earlier, Hollywood made headlines for his close friendship with another former player, Kerry Rhodes. A friendship that exploded into public controversy when Hollywood alleged he and Rhodes had been in a secret relationship, complete with alleged photos and details that sent sports blogs and gossip sites into frenzy. Rhodes denied everything. Hollywood stood firm. And although that firestorm eventually burned out, the memory of it never fully disappeared. So when the same Hollywood suddenly popped up next to Shannon Sharpe, fans started asking dangerous questions. Was Shannon just getting fashion advice? Or was there something more layered, more personal, being concealed behind the bespoke threads? It didn't help that Shannon, for all his public bravado, has always kept his private life under lock and key. No confirmed relationships. No public partners. Just a carefully controlled image, guarded as fiercely as any play on the field. But in the age of TikTok sleuths and Reddit detectives, that silence only amplified the speculation. The idea that Shannon might be living on the down low wasn't just whispered. It became a topic of full-blown podcast debates, YouTube exposés, and shady memes. And through it all, Hollywood remained conspicuously close, never denying the rumors, never confirming them either, but always posting, always showing off his work with captions that danced on the edge of double meaning. Only the best for the king. He'd write under a video of Shannon adjusting a suit jacket. Or, my masterpiece, paired with a slow-motion clip of Shannon turning to camera in designer gear. To the casual fan, it was harmless. But to those who remembered the Kerry Road saga, it sounded like a man who knew exactly how to start fire. And perhaps Shannon knew that too. Because when the fallout finally came, when Shannon suddenly distanced himself from Hollywood and tried to downplay their history, it didn't feel like a stylist being replaced. It felt like a man scrubbing the fingerprints off a relationship he never wanted questioned. And now, as Hollywood drops hints and fans revisit old footage, the timeline is starting to unravel. Because maybe the Real story isn't about fashion at all. Maybe it's about what people are willing to hide when they've spent a lifetime being told to perform strength and never vulnerability. They say when a joke hits too close to home, it stops being funny. And in the case of Shannon Sharpe, a single punchline from comedian Mike Epps might have done more damage than an expose ever could. It happened on Club Shay Shay, Shannon's own platform, his own turf. A space where he's hosted everyone from A-list celebrities to viral sensations, all while controlling the tone, the edit, the image. But during his interview with Mike Epps, something slipped through the cracks. Something raw, something messy. Epps, ever the provocateur, didn't ease into it. The joke came fast, wrapped in that usual Epps delivery, goofy smile, casual tone, but eyes watching for the reaction. He said, "Man, Shannon, you be looking at them balls like you're trying to pick one to take home. You sure you're just watching football?" Then he laughed, loud, slapping his knee like it was just another wild joke from a wild man. But Shannon? He froze. Just for a second. Blinked. Smiled too hard. Laughed too loud. That overcompensating kind of laugh. The one that doesn't match the eyes. And the internet caught it immediately. Clips of the moment hit TikTok and Twitter within hours. One side of the internet said it was harmless teasing, classic locker room banter. But the other side? They saw something deeper. They saw a moment where a mask cracked, where a powerful man who's always been in control got caught off guard on his own stage. And just like that, the whispers about Shannon Sharpe's sexuality, whispers that had lingered quietly for years, roared back to life. People went digging. Old clips of Club Shay Shay resurfaced, with fans combing through interviews and wardrobe choices like amateur detectives. Comments turned sharp. Why does Shannon always overdo the masculinity? Y'all never noticed how much he fixates on how a man looks? Others pointed out how often he praises male guests' physiques or fashion. And then came the meme storm. Screenshots of that Epps moment, side eyes, suggestive captions, and reaction gifs that went viral within hours. But it wasn't just the fans feeding the fire. Hollywood Simpson, yes, that Hollywood, jumped in too. He reposted the clip of Epps' joke with a single emoji. Eyes. No caption. No explanation. Just those two wide eyes, watching. Waiting. And to those familiar with the backstory, it was practically a confession. A confirmation that there was more to the story. That the stylist turned ex-confidant knew things the public didn't, and wasn't afraid to let the truth leak one breadcrumb at a time. Soon, Other comedians and influencers joined in. Some piled on for laughs. Others offered subtle support. One viral tweet read, "Shannon Sharpe being flamboyant is not the revelation y'all think it is. The real story is why he's so scared of people knowing." It racked up thousands of retweets. Suddenly, the narrative wasn't about the joke. It was about the fear behind the joke. And let's be real, this is bigger than shade. In a media culture that still polices black masculinity with surgical precision, the idea that Shannon Sharpe, Mr. Protein Shakes, Mr. Suit Game, Mr. Undisputed, might not be who the public thinks he is, that's dangerous. Not because there's anything wrong with being gay or fluid or anything in between, but because Shannon built a brand on never letting there be a question. And now the questions are everywhere. Does it matter? That depends on who you ask. But what's undeniable is that Shannon's image, once bulletproof, is now full of cracks. Because Mike Epps didn't just tell a joke. He kicked open a door. And behind that door, Hollywood is waiting, watching, maybe even ready to talk. Because when the shade comes from inside the celebrity circle and the people who know you best start to giggle at the same rumor, it's no longer speculation. It's a storm gathering. And Shannon's silence only makes the thunder louder. For months, they were inseparable. Shannon Sharpe and Russell Hollywood Simpson. The viral style videos, the behind-the-scenes content, the mutual admiration that spilled across social media like clockwork. But then, just as quickly as Hollywood arrived, he vanished. No warning, no farewell, just silence. At first, fans thought maybe Hollywood was just working behind the scenes, planning Shannon's next red carpet slay or tweaking his image for a brand deal. But the eagle-eyed followers noticed something different. Shannon's fits looked off, stiffer, safe, familiar, even. Gone were the vibrant color palettes, the fashion-forward risks, the carefully curated statement pieces that screamed new money with old taste. In their place, conservative suits, muted tones, less swag, more standard. And then, without ceremony or context, Shannon Sharpe appeared in a segment and casually dropped the name of his new, well, actually old, stylist, Shelley Davis. Old school fans perked up. Shelley was the woman who'd been dressing Shannon for years, long before the Club Shay Shay transformation, back when his red carpet appearances were passable but forgettable. Solid professional, but not Instagram-worthy. Her return wasn't just a switch, it was a signal, a reset. A quiet deletion of the Hollywood era. And Shannon? He tried to play it cool. In a brief moment during an interview, he shrugged off the change like it was just business. "I'm a loyal guy," he said. "Shelley's been with me since day one. Sometimes you gotta go back to what you know. No drama, no shade, just a smooth pivot." But the streets weren't buying it. Because the timing wasn't just curious, it was screaming. This firing came after the Mike Epps joke went viral. After Hollywood had reposted that eyes emoji and stirred the pot. After gossip blogs had already begun connecting dots and suggesting that Shannon's carefully built brand might have deeper layers than he wanted exposed. To fire Hollywood at that exact moment, it didn't look like a style decision. It looked like damage control. Fans noticed the pattern immediately. One Reddit thread titled, "Shannon is scrubbing the timeline thinking face" broke it down like a crime scene. Posts with Hollywood started disappearing from Shannon's feed. Mentions of his name were gone from press captions. Even footage where Hollywood could be seen in the background of Club Shay Shay episodes mysteriously started getting cropped or blurred. It wasn't just a firing. It was a full-on erase and replace. But the internet has a long memory. And while Shannon tried to spin it as loyalty, bringing back his original stylist, sticking to his roots, people weren't fooled. Because if it really was about loyalty, why hire Hollywood in the first place? Why let him dress you for 2 years, elevate your image, ride with you through a rebrand, and then drop him like yesterday's sneakers the moment the rumors got too loud? Insiders say it wasn't mutual. Hollywood didn't leave quietly. In fact, sources close to him claimed he found out he was replaced not through a phone call or a meeting, but by seeing Shelley's name in a press release. And Hollywood? He didn't go nuclear. Not yet. But the passive aggression was undeniable. He unfollowed Shannon on Instagram, deleted every post with him, then reposted old styling videos of other celebrities, Carrie Rhodes among them, with cryptic captions like, "What's understood doesn't need to be explained." He even posted a photo of a Gucci briefcase with the caption, "Never bite the hand that upgraded you." The message was loud. He made Shannon look like $1,000,000 and got tossed the moment things got uncomfortable. Some fans speculated that Shannon feared what else Hollywood might reveal. Others believed his team pushed the move, eager to protect his brand from the growing speculation. Either way, it was clear this wasn't just a wardrobe change. It was a calculated pivot, a desperate attempt to reclaim control of a narrative that was spiraling fast. But as anyone in the spotlight knows, it's not enough to fire someone and hope the world forgets. Because when the timing is that suspicious and the history that rich, the ghost of the fallout always lingers. And now, with Hollywood off the payroll and back in the shadows, fans are just waiting to see what he does next. Because if there's one thing louder than a scandal, it's the silence of someone who knows too much. When the silence breaks, it breaks loud. For weeks, Russell, Hollywood, Simpson said nothing. No interviews, no podcasts, not even a shady meme. Just carefully curated posts, flashy outfits, celebrity shout-outs, the occasional motivational quote. But beneath the gloss, there was tension, pressure building. And then, like a thunderclap in the middle of a PR storm, Hollywood did what everyone had been waiting for. He dropped the receipts. It started with a video, quiet, classy, calculated, posted to his Instagram with a caption, "Let the visuals speak," since words been twisted. No tags, no hashtags, just a clean edit. But the content? Explosive. Clips showed Hollywood styling Shannon Sharpe head to toe, unzipping garment bags, adjusting lapels, polishing cufflinks. Behind-the-scenes footage from Club Shay Shay shoots. Cell phone videos of fittings in luxury hotel suites. In one, Shannon turns to the camera and says, "Hollywood got me looking right again. Be the reason I don't wear them boring-ass suits no more." He laughs. Hollywood laughs louder. One clip showed a fashion rack labeled UNC's Fits, Emmy Weekend. Another? A moment of Shannon posing in a velvet tux, camera ready, turning to Hollywood and saying, "You killed it with this one, bruh. This is how I'm supposed to look." Receipts, with timestamps, location tags, and Shannon's own voice. Fans were floored, because just days earlier, Shannon had gone on air claiming that Shelley Davis had always been behind his best looks, that he never really stopped working with her, that people had confused who was leading the styling team. But Hollywood's video made it clear there was no team. It was him, and he wasn't done. Hours later, he posted a carousel of screenshots, DMs from stylists and assistants thanking him for putting Shannon back on the fashion radar. Emails from luxury brands like Tom Ford and Balmain, all addressed to Hollywood, asking for Shannon's sizing and preferences directly. No Shelley, no assistant, just Hollywood Simpson. Then came the caption heard around the internet. "Don't rewrite the story just because you're scared of the plot twist." Twitter exploded. Hashtag Hollywood got receipts began trending. Fans flooded the comments with support and speculation. Celebrities even jumped in. One stylist tweeted, "Respect to Hollywood. Don't let nobody erase your work just because they embarrass now." And yet, the real dagger wasn't in the videos. It was in the shade. Hollywood began resharing old footage, clips of Shannon complimenting other male guests a little too intensely. Throwback Club Shay Shay moments that fans had previously brushed off. Except now, each clip came with new captions. Cryptic, cutting. One showed Shannon fixing a male guest's shirt collar. Hollywood's caption went deeper than fashion. Eyes. Another clip had Shannon bragging about loving form-fitting suits. Hollywood's repost read, "Tailored tight. Just how he liked it." Was it messy? Absolutely. But it was surgical. Not an all-out tell-all. Not yet. Just enough to twist the knife and remind the world that Hollywood held the playbook. And perhaps the most damning post of all? A picture of Hollywood's closet, a wall lined with custom-made looks. Designer pieces, most of them last seen on Shannon Sharpe himself. The caption, "When you get fired, but they still wear your work on national television, rent-free." That post went viral. Because it wasn't just. It was a quiet Tuesday night. No red carpets. No podcast drops. No cryptic Hollywood posts. And then, out of nowhere, Shannon Sharpe went live on Instagram. No warning, no promo, just that unmistakable ping that sent fans racing to their phones. But what they found wasn't the usual Club Shay Shay flair. The screen was black. No face. No set. Just muffled audio. Intimate, close, almost too close. A man's voice. Shannon's voice. Low and breathy. Not the booming, polished baritone fans were used to. He was laughing. Whispering. And then, clear as day, he said it. "You got me laying here like I'm the little spoon." A soft chuckle followed. Then another voice, unmistakably male, responded. "You ain't fooling nobody, UNC." The audio cut. Just like that. The live ended in under 30 seconds. But it was too late. Nearly 12,000 people had tuned in. And screen recordings? Instant. The clip was everywhere within minutes. Twitter, TikTok, Shade Room, Lipstick Alley, Reddit. Even sports gossip blogs that usually avoided personal life chatter couldn't resist. And the internet broke. Theories exploded. Was it a lover? A setup? An accidental drop of truth? Or a PR disaster meant to distract from something deeper? By sunrise, Little Spoon Shannon was trending worldwide. Memes flew. One showed a custom Club Shay Shay logo, replaced with Club Gay Gay. Another had Shannon photoshopped into a silk bonnet and robe, cradled in Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's arms. The jokes were relentless, but so were the questions. And Shannon? He panicked. First came a tweet. "Wasn't me. My IG got hacked. Y'all wild." Then it was deleted. Next, he went on air, tight-lipped, visibly agitated, and addressed it on his podcast. "Y'all, I had a friend over. My phone went live on accident. That wasn't meant for public ears, but it's not that deep. No one was hacked. And nah, I ain't got nothing to hide." But the damage was already done. Because just days earlier, Shannon had denied ever having close relationships with men outside his crew, had insisted that gossip blogs were making things up, that people were too obsessed with trying to read into nothing. Now, that nothing had a voice, and fans weren't buying the explanation. Not this time. So which is it, UNC? Hacked or a mistake? If it's not that deep, why delete the tweet? That didn't sound like just a friend. That sounded like a whole situationship. Meanwhile, Hollywood stayed silent, but not inactive. He reposted a clip from Beyoncé's Jealous video with a caption. "When they soft launch in, but denying the rollout." 3 laughing emojis. 1 spoon emoji. The shade was nuclear. And while Shannon tried to regain control, appearing on Undisputed in a crisp, conservative gray suit, talking sports stats like nothing happened, his Instagram comments were flooded with one thing. Spoon, spoon, spoon. The spoon emoji had become the new scarlet letter. Some fans defended him. Let the man live. Y'all too nosy. Who he's with ain't your business. Masculinity ain't defined by no spoon. Others weren't so forgiving. He'd been lying for years. This was staged to shut down the Hollywood rumors. Y'all really think this wasn't a PR play? Behind the scenes, brands took notice. A rumored collab with a men's grooming company quietly paused. Negotiations with a major cable network for a late-night hosting gig under reevaluation. Because it wasn't just the content of the live stream. It was the sloppiness. The way Shannon fumbled the aftermath. The contradictions. The shift from hack to honest mistake. The refusal to fully own it, but also the lack of denial strong enough to put it to bed. In a media environment trained to sniff out a soft launch from a mile away, fans weren't fooled. If anything, they were insulted, because whether it was staged or not, it was calculated. And now, every whisper, every meme, every spoon emoji was a reminder. The facade was cracking. And Shannon? He was either caught in a truth he didn't want out, or orchestrating a mess too obvious to work. Either way, the IG Live that lasted just 28 seconds did what no scandal had done before. It humanized him, exposed him, undressed the image he'd spent years building. Because behind every tailored suit and viral soundbite might just be a man lying in bed, caught whispering into the wrong side of fame. 3 days. That's how long it took for Shannon Sharpe to resurface after the IG Live bombshell. No tweets, no Club Shay Shay clips, no slick suits or spicy sports takes, just digital silence. And then a ping. Not from ESPN, not a press release, but from Nightcap, his late-night show with Chad Cinco Johnson. The casual, laid-back set usually filled with laughter, tequila shots, and tales from the locker room. But this episode, it was different. Shannon looked tired. No signature shades. No Cuban link chain. Just a plain black hoodie and bags under his eyes. The edges of his confidence, always razor sharp, looked dulled. Chad, noticeably more subdued, gave a soft intro. All right, y'all. Tonight's episode gonna be a little different. A lot of things floating around the internet. And we want to take a moment before we get into anything else. I'ma let UNC speak his piece. And then Shannon began. At first, it was halting. He stared at the mic, adjusted it, took a deep breath. His voice, normally bold and bouncy, was low, measured, fragile. Look, I just want to be real with y'all for a second. He paused. That IG live situation? Embarrassing. Straight up. It wasn't meant to happen. I didn't even realize it was on until it was over. He chuckled, but it was hollow. Dry. Y'all ever had one of the moments where you just want to throw your whole phone in a lake? That was me. Man, I was laid up chilling. Somebody was joking around, and boom, I'm live. Another pause. He rubbed his temples. It ain't about no shame. I ain't ashamed of who I am. I just hate that folks saw something that wasn't for public consumption. That ain't how I want to represent myself or my brand. But the internet had already taken that word, represent, and run with it. Because this didn't sound like a man speaking from the heart. It sounded like a man reading a script written by a lawyer and cleaned by a brand manager. The apology continued. I know y'all got jokes. The meme's been wild. I see y'all with the spoons. He forced a laugh. But real talk, this been hard on me. 'Cause I pride myself on being in control. Y'all know that. I don't move messy. I move with intention. Intention. That word again. The same word critics threw back at him like a grenade. Because if he was so intentional, how did a man with his media training, his experience, his calculated image, accidentally go live mid-conversation, mid-bedroom whisper? And why? Fans asked. Was the friend he was with still a mystery? No name, no identity, no clarification, just more smoke. Still, Shannon pressed on. I ain't trying to hide nothing. I ain't here to explain away grown folks having grown conversations. But I do want my audience to know there's no scandal here. No secret lifestyle. Just a mistake. That's it. But that's where things really unraveled. Because he said, no secret lifestyle, unprompted. No one had used those words until he did. That slip-up lit a firestorm across social media. Nobody said anything about a secret lifestyle, UNC. Why bring that up? That was a Freudian slip, if I ever heard one. You just told on yourself, trying to not tell on yourself. Chad tried to salvage the moment, jumped in. People forget you human, man. They act like you can't have a moment. You had one. It's over. Let's move forward. But fans weren't done dissecting every blink, every fidget, every vague turn of phrase. And Shannon's body language wasn't helping. He kept glancing off camera, adjusting his hoodie, avoiding direct eye contact. It felt rehearsed, managed, off. Even the lighting was dimmer. Some viewers joked it was an attempt to set this serious apology mood. Others claimed it was to mask facial tension, like a man under contract trying to toe the line between truth and damage control. The episode ended with Shannon thanking fans for riding with him, but the outro music felt almost funereal. And when the clip hit YouTube and TikTok, the comments were brutal. This wasn't an apology. It was a brand insurance policy. That man more nervous than a cat in a dog park. Every sentence got PR fingerprints on it. You embarrassed by being exposed, not by your actions. That's the real truth. Meanwhile, inside circles whispered that this wasn't the end, but the beginning of a repositioning strategy. That Shannon's camp was testing the waters. That this apology was a soft beta for a controlled reveal down the line. Some even speculated that the man heard in the IG Live, still unidentified, was more than just a friend. That Shannon's team was scrambling to lock NDAs and silence leaks before the story grew legs. But no matter the truth, one thing was undeniable. The apology did not land. It didn't clarify. It didn't comfort. If anything, it stirred more suspicion. Because when a man who's built his empire on authenticity suddenly sounds like a hostage of his own narrative, people don't believe the apology. They believe the leak. Hollywood doesn't forget, and it definitely doesn't forgive, especially when one of its own gets sloppy. After Shannon Sharpe's accidental IG live sent social media into meltdown, the internet had its jokes. But inside the industry, the energy shifted. The whispers weren't just gossip. They were strategic. Because in Hollywood, a mistake like that, people don't buy it. A celebrity makeup artist who's worked with half the league and all the networks didn't name names, but she didn't have to. She tweeted, "You don't accidentally go live on IG. That takes steps. At least 3 taps. Maybe 4. Then added, "People forget I was in the room during a certain interview that never aired." Let me shut up though. That tweet hit like a match in a dry forest. Millions of views. Thousands of shares. Verified accounts lurking in the replies. Some liking it silently. Others sending cryptic emojis. Eyes fire, hourglass not done. Then came the Instagram stories, disappearing fast, but not before screenshots hit the blogs. A former entertainment publicist posted, "The truth doesn't leak. It waits." And then it got real. Because Hollywood, the influencer, the alleged ex-situationship, the one everyone suspects was in that video, broke his silence. Not with an interview, not with an expose, just a photo, shirtless, dimly lit, no words, just a caption. "I'll wait till the right time." The comments went insane. Followers begged, "Tell your story." Insiders messaged, "He's scared. You have the power." And others warned, "Watch your back." Because when secrets start to slip through the cracks in Hollywood, someone always gets cut. And the question now isn't if more is coming. It's when. This isn't the first time Hollywood shadows have spilled over into the spotlight. In fact, rewind the tape a few years, and the déjà vu is unsettling. Remember Kerry Rhodes? Former NFL star. Rising fast. Rumors swirling. Then, out of nowhere, photos surface. Intimate. Unfiltered. Viral. The blogosphere had a feeding frenzy, and Rhodes was left scrambling. Denials followed. Damage control spun into overdrive. And at the center of it all, a man who claimed he was telling his truth. The same man, now standing at the edges of Shannon Sharpe's unraveling. Coincidence? Or calling card? Because people are starting to connect the dots, and the outline forming isn't pretty. Is this his MO? A silent saboteur lurking behind fame, waiting for the perfect moment to strike? Or is he a whistleblower? A truth-teller finally fed up with watching powerful men dodge accountability, rewriting the past while they stay protected by silence and NDAs? It's a tightrope walk through hellfire. Some say he's messy. Others say he's necessary. And the industry? Oh, they remember. They remember how quickly Kerry's image shattered. They remember who whispered first. And now, they're watching it all play out again. But this time, the stakes are higher. Because if this really is a pattern, then Hollywood's best-kept secrets aren't safe anymore. And this man? He just might be holding the scissors. The curtain hasn't closed yet, not even close. In fact, Hollywood's just getting started. Right when the dust from Shannon Sharpe's shocking Instagram live was starting to settle, new tremors began to shake the entertainment world. The whispers are growing louder. That live stream may not have been a mistake at all. What if, stay with us, what if the whole thing was a diversion? A shiny object tossed into the public square to make us look left while something far more explosive was happening on the right? And the industry knows it. One studio exec allegedly said, "You don't just accidentally go live on IG. That takes steps. You have to click multiple buttons." That wasn't clumsiness. That was calculated. Calculated for what, though? Fans are connecting dots across social media, digging into patterns of behavior, clipped interviews, half-deleted tweets, and quiet legal filings that don't make headlines but scream cover up. Some believe Shannon's live stream, bizarre and inflammatory as it was, served a much bigger purpose: buying time, distracting from deeper scandals, possibly involving major power players. Allegiances, NDAs, settlements. Suddenly it's all being dragged into the light. And in the center of this storm is a looming figure. Hollywood unlocks Jason Lee. The man who once got ahead of the royal baby announcement and predicted Ye's presidential run is now teasing something massive. Sources say Jason has been sitting on footage, testimony, and receipts, allegedly implicating some of the most untouchable figures in sports and entertainment. His cryptic social post read, "I'll wait till the right time." The question is, why wait? What's he protecting or building? Because this isn't just about Shannon Sharpe anymore. This is about a tangled web of celebrity, brand money, legal muscle, and silent puppeteers behind the scenes. The live may have seemed unhinged, but in hindsight, it might be the smartest move anyone's made yet. It gave people something to focus on while insiders scrambled behind the scenes. But they may not have scrambled fast enough. Now all eyes are on Hollywood, and not the glitzy red carpet kind. We're talking about the part of Hollywood where reputations get destroyed overnight, where one DM, one Dropbox, one anonymous tip can end decades-long careers. Because if the rumors are true, what's coming next won't just be a scandal. It'll be a reckoning. So buckle up, because the final act? It hasn't started yet, but when it does, it's going to blow the roof off.